When I first came to Switzerland, I had a few things that I wanted to do, but then again, I was also a child. I was 21 years old. And I had a few things that I wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to swim. I wanted to be able to drive a car. And I wanted very, very much to learn how to ski. So 20 something years later, I have only just started swimming classes. Should I actually be saying that? Because it's been about 8 sessions now. So I don't think it started. But anyway, now is when I'm learning how to swim 20 something years later. And the driving, I have done the driving test so many times that I'm giving myself a self esteem break. I'm not someone who's used to failing. So the fact that I've failed this so many times is really working on my identity. And the skiing, well, let's just say I go to the ski resort, I put on the nice outfit, I take photos for Instagram, and then I move on with my life. Why am I telling you this? Very irrelevant to you, but I'm telling you this because if I ever write a book about my life, I would probably name it My Failures, because I think I would have more chapters about my failures than I would about the things that I have succeeded in. And one of the things that scares me the most is how little we talk about failures. We talk about successes because they're good to celebrate. We talk about victories because we see them, but we don't talk about the process. And one thing I try to teach my kids is that nothing that shines came easy, even if it does, because there's some things that came very easy for me, but I don't let my children see that side. I try to make them see the other side. Not because I glorify struggle. I am one of those people who there is no day that I will glorify struggle. If you can get something without having to struggle for it, I would be so, so happy to do that. Like, I would be happy for you to be able to get things without struggling. I believe parents are there to make life easier for their kids. Because you went to school with no shoes does not mean you have to make your children feel guilty for the fact that they have shoes. That's why you worked hard, so that they can come into the world and be able to get this. Because you did all these difficulties does not mean your children, the next generation, has to have a better life than what you had. But I also don't believe in not letting them see or know the stuff that you want to go through. This is in relation to a mentee that I was mentoring about job applications. This girl, she really, really wants a certain kind of job in a certain kind of company. The job market right now is not, it is more employer friendly than employee friendly. You know, there are times when it's an employee job market where there are more vacancies than people who are looking for jobs. That's usually quite rare, but it happens, and especially for some positions. And this person is at the beginning of her career. And I told her that, yes, I understand your first job. And I think for her, the worst thing was the first job was really an amazing job at a really amazing company. And so she kept thinking that it needs to keep going up. And I told her that, yes, I would really wish for that to be the reality for you. I would wish that, because there are people who've always worked for very great places, paid very good salaries. There are people who've had that. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but that's not the norm. Majority of people do a zigzag, especially when you start from really high. When you start from low, then you only have up to go. But when you start from really high, sometimes the zigzag is a must. And when you have these zigzag moments, it's easy to question yourself. It's easy to question your worth. I'm also not the kind of person who's going to tell you, lower yourself so that you can get something that you want. Because, tomorrow is going to be a better day. What? No. But I'm saying, if you need to put food on the table, you need to put food on the table. And it doesn't matter if you have to do this for a short time or for a long time. And the hardest part about it is you're going to be at this job. But again, as a mental health advocate, if you're not happy at your job, you know you are not going to do it well. So be at that job, keep looking, but at least you have the worry of the bills being paid has already been sorted. And this can really, really be helpful. So I started by telling you about my swimming and skiing and driving things. And these are things that might be easy for other people. There are people who, when I tell people my story about swimming, and it's very hard for someone to understand why I can't swim. I also don't think I can say it. I don't think I can articulate it well, why I can't swim. And it's the same thing with driving. I cannot really explain to you, but it's something that is in me. It's something I have to get over by myself. There is no amount of training or practice that I can do that will get it over me for me. It's just something that I have to reach that place by myself. I have to trust myself and trust my body and trust the car and trust all this for me to be able to do that. And the process might be long, and I have to get to that process. You understand? It's a long process, and there's no shortcut. So I have to do it, and I know I have to do it. It's the same thing with the job market. Sometimes there are just parts of our careers that will not come automatically. And it's not because you're not working hard. It's not because you don't have the right qualifications. It's not because you're not trying hard enough or networking hard enough. And it's very easy actually to start telling yourself that I'm not working hard enough, that's why I'm not getting this. No, it's simply because some things are just not easy. And you can have periods in your life where those things come easy, and then you have periods in your life where those same things become very hard. I know people who've had very great careers in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, and then they hit like 40 something, and all of a sudden, because of a restructuring or because of something, they lose their job. And then finding a job becomes impossible. And this is somebody who used to apply for jobs and apply for jobs, used to be headhunted, and all of a sudden everything has dried up. And it's very easy to start questioning your self-worth. I could have questioned my abilities when I failed my driving test for the third or fourth time and said, listen, everybody I know and their grandmother can drive. What is wrong with me? Am I broken? But it's okay to be broken sometimes, because sometimes maybe in that breaking, there are very many things that I can do that other people cannot do. And it's in staying in that place of feeling helpless and wondering what's wrong with me that would waste the opportunity that I would have had to move on to the next place. Now, I know I'm sounding like a motivational speaker because of that, but I had this conversation with that mentee, and it was very hard to explain to her that you started off well. Nobody is saying you're not going to get back there or even better, but at the moment, your biggest priority is she's almost at the end of her unemployment, so she needs to find something very quickly. And I told her, you're almost at the end of your unemployment. Take a step back and start thinking about, what if I go a little bit down for me to be able to shoot back up? You can go back lower, and of course that's bad for your CV. But you know what else you can do? According to a recruiter that I spoke to a few years ago, when you're there, you can be doing a course. And this can be a very good thing to explain to the recruiter and tell the recruiter, listen, I took this job because it was going to enable me to have enough time for me to do this course, which now helps me to get to this step. Because there's always a way you can twist things, and if you can't find the way to twist it, then ask AI. But you should be able to create and make things work for you in the way that you want. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have to say this week, and I'm hoping that your journey to self-discovery and to understanding yourself is just going to be great. You know what? I've just realized that my locks are really locking. I have managed to raise all of them to the center. Oh my, the things that make me happy. But yeah, okay. So that's it. Have a nice week.